Hey, guys, thanks for watching. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time you're watching this. For those of you watching later, thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. If you're new here, smash that like and subscribe button. So, we're going live. We're going to be talking about some fishing, some tournaments coming up, some things that we got planned going on with the Common Sense channel. And we'll talk about a little personal stuff, let you guys know where I've been for a while, what's going on. Just always helps too to get a little encouragement and positivity. So life's not always the smoothest ride, is it? So good evening, everybody. Hey, Ronald. Appreciate it, Largemouth Lunkin. Good evening, Paul. Gray Wolf. Nice to see you on. Appreciate everybody. So I'd like to start out by just asking if you guys could just sometime, if you have a moment to send me a prayer, send my family a prayer, just keep us in your thoughts. Got two real tough things going on right now. We're going to cover those, get them out of the way so you guys know what's been going on with my life, kind of. And then let's get into fishing because I don't like being Debbie Downer. It's just, I think it's great when the community can come together. We lift each other up, we help each other. And I'm asking, I don't usually ever do this. I don't like charity. I don't like asking for help. But if you guys could just a nice warm thought, it helps. If you don't believe in anything like that, just again, just a warm thought, just wishing us well. So, hey, Charles Chuck, how's it going? Let's get it fishing. Hey, Mario, good to see you guys on tonight. So, like I said, first and foremost, I just want to ask for a prayer, and I'll let you guys know why here in a second. And just keep us in your thoughts. And again, I have some awesome stuff planned for the channel soon. So I'm looking forward to some really cool stuff this year. And we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be tournament fishing. So lots of fun, lots of tournament videos, pre fishing videos. I try to keep these live streams going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but these last 2 weeks have just been really tough. So we're going to fill you guys in on why I need a prayer. And we'll start with the biggest thing is I mean, she's not dying or anything, but I'm gonna be losing my daughter. It just hurts real bad. I have a real good connection with her. I love her more than anything. And long story short, me and my ex-wife got divorced about 10 years ago, and she took the kids at first. I kind of fought her for it after a minute, and I ended up winning. We not winning. We have shared custody, and I got the kids during the school year. She got them during the summer, and a little backstory. My ex-wife always she had postpartum depression. With the second kid with our son Jonathan, and I've always had a really close bond with him, and I've always been there for both all my kids. But I had to change his diapers and feed him. All at all odd hours of the night when he was a baby instead of him usually being with mom, right? And Amelia, my daughter, she's always been just the light of our lives and just such a positive, awesome, young, beautiful girl. Just so I'm so proud as a dad. I couldn't wish or ask for a better daughter or son. I love them both, and so this is tough. So, anyways, I've always been there and been the best dad that I could, and she's 15 years old now, and well, she's going to be turning 15, and she decided that she wants to live with her mom, and this just really shakes me up because her and her brother are just super close, and I don't want to see them split up. And he doesn't want to go. He wants to stay with me, and I'm happy about that. I love my son to death, and I'll always be there for him. So my son's, 13, going to be 14, and my daughter's 14, going to be 15. So after this summer, it's pretty much going to be my last school year with her, and it really hurts. And it's not her fault. It's just I know that this is where she's going to finish up high school, where she's going to probably find her first love, where she's going to get a job, and being that she is a young teenager there, unless she goes to college and moves away or does something with herself, she's probably going to be rooted there, which is in Oklahoma. So I'm not going to be having very many chances to see her much. It sucks. And then for the next 3 or 4 years, while she's a young growing adult, and the next 4 years while she goes through high school, I'm only going to get to see her during the summertime. And I do heating and air conditioning, so that's like a death sentence as far as like I'm basically not gonna get to not ever, but I'm just not gonna get to see my daughter much anymore. And I love her so much. I'd kill for her. I'd move mountains. And so it's hard to even look in the camera. I don't want to start crying, but yeah. So it was like when she told us, I don't want to fight her. I'm not going to fight her decision. I'm going to fight her mom. She's a smart, beautiful, awesome young lady. And if that's where she wants to, go next year, which means it'll probably be every year, then that's her choice. So I've been off of the channel for a bit, a little depressed and stressed with that, uh, to say the least. Really not an easy thing to deal with or even really talk about much. But I wanted you guys to know, I love doing these videos, helping people out. I love doing this channel. I love getting out and doing what I love. I love interacting with everybody and doing these live streams. So sorry I've been off for like the last week or two, but that's one of the big reasons. Now, number two is just like a 1-2 punch, man. I tell you what. So we're gonna tell you my ex-wife is Mexican, right? She's Hispanic. So my kids are half Hispanic and they look white as shit, man. Blue eyes, light skin. They just look like little white kids basically, but they're half Hispanic. And I got Native American in me, it's crazy, but they look a lot like me and Janelle, my ex-wife, and they look a lot like our family. You can tell. I mean, they're my kids, but it's just so crazy how white they are, and have a Hispanic mom and part Native American and a white dad. I guess my genes just came through, and my dad has green eyes. Grandparents all have blue, and so it just happened to come out. And my ex-wife is a light-skinned Hispanic. She's more on the Spaniard side, so they came out real light-skinned, blue-eyed, like Superman, right? Dark hair, crystal blue eyes, and just pale light skin. So anyways, my boy, we live in the Central Valley here in California, and I happen to live in just a predominantly Hispanic community. It's actually a lot of it's illegal immigrants even, and that's not got much to do with it, but I'm just saying, just hardcore Mexican community. And my son is getting bullied and harassed constantly at school, called pinche güero, cracker, honky, all kinds of stuff. And they're bullying him, picking it on him. He wanted to play soccer. He was so excited. We did a whole year on the soccer team, and he did great. He got along with the people there and with the friends, and everything was great. And they wanted to continue the season or extend it into a private like season when they were going to actually like a traveling team. So they had to take on new players from others, from this area, but from other cities and stuff. Hey, how's it going? And so I'm finishing up a quick little story, and then we're going to get to some great fishing stuff. So just don't want to be a Debbie Downer, just asking for a prayer, everybody. My daughter is going to be, I'm not going to be able to see her much anymore. And my son, who's half Hispanic, is getting ruthlessly bullied at school for being white. And who played on the soccer team, and they did some really bad stuff to him, and they got it on video. So sucks, like they were bullying him ruthlessly, pantsed him, did a bunch of stuff, and they got it on cell phone video. It could just destroy a young kid's life. And good thing he's not really into social media. He doesn't have a Facebook account, so they can't blast him and tag him. He's not on Instagram and all that. So it's just, they can share it, but nobody else really knows. I mean, they can share it to their friends. It can go viral, whatever. But my son doesn't have an account yet, so it's not like you can really put a name to the face. So my son wants to move. he doesn't like it here. And I own my house. I have a lot of equity. It's almost paid off. I could sell my house tomorrow probably and pocket 200 grand or more after the house is paid off and everything else, and just restart my life somewhere. But I don't like running. I don't like hiding. I don't like, and then you can run from one problem and find another one in another place. So I got to raise my kids and teach them to confront and challenge their problems, deal with them, and learn how to adapt. I kind of want to move too, but I want to stay here. You know, I want to stay in the area. I want to stay in the state. I love the lakes. I love the fishing. California is a beautiful state. There's great people here. There's a lot of awesome things here. It's just I happen to live in Little Mexico, like seriously, and it's not a bad place. It never has been really up until once you get to like a certain age where the kids just become super mean, and the school is like literally 98% Hispanic, and everyone jumps and makes fun of him, bullies him, picks on him. They call him, like I said, pinche güero, white boy, cracker, honky. They call him all kinds of names. And a guy can only take so much of seeing his son bullied. And the other thing is, I'm an old black belt. I don't practice anymore, but I still know what I'm doing. And my son's in boxing too, and he's not too bad. But I don't let him fight back because they're not physically hurting him yet. But if it comes to it, I've told him to defend himself. But it's getting frustrating as a father when you basically, I only have two kids, guys. A little story too, a little. I had 20 years ago a kid with a woman who stole him from me, didn't give me a chance, ran off because fathers don't have any rights these days. And she put my kid up for adoption. And I would have fought tooth and nail to raise my own child. I didn't want my kid going up for adoption. So she put him up for adoption 2 years ago, almost a year and a half ago. She tells me it's my kid and puts me in contact with his foster parents, and I get to reach out. We do a paternity test, and yeah, it's my kid. So I have my firstborn son. I don't even know, never get to see him. I've seen pictures of him. They say they want us to meet, but they say that they don't want to disturb his college education, and because he's only like 20 and he's down in Southern California. Yet I follow him on Instagram, and he's like posting videos of just getting shit faced drunk and high, getting all messed up and doing drugs basically, or hanging out with just doesn't look like the right crowd. And you're worried about him meeting his real dad. So I have a son that I've never met, my firstborn son that I knew was taken from me. It sucks. And now here I am with only my only two children, and it feels like I'm kind of losing them both. So we're gonna show your guys' comments. I'll get to you guys' comments. Thank you everybody for saying a prayer. Drop a like if you guys can. Help support the channel and me. Just feels good to get a little bit of lifted up. So I appreciate all the kind words and any prayers you guys or warm thoughts you could send my way. I needed to figure out what the hell to do in my life the next 6 months to a year and a half maybe. Um, I own my own business. I'm doing financially okay, but I'm going to owe a ton of taxes. So there's just all this crap weighing down on me as far as like trying to struggle and just survive. This pandemic didn't help shit. I tried to start my business like 2 months before it came, man. January 1st, 2020, I took all my life savings and I put it into my business. And then 3 months later, everything closes and crashes. It's just, you couldn't ask for a worse last year and a half. I'm sure a lot of people are feeling this pain in other ways too, losing family, loved ones, all the craziness is going on in the world right now, which is why I asked for a prayer and a warm thought. So I don't want to expound on it too much, but just letting you guys know we're going through some tough times. So last 2 weeks has been a little shaky. There was a lot of information brought to my knowledge that just really hurt to know, but it's good to know. And that's where I've been in the headspace, let's say. So I haven't been feeling like coming out here and doing live streams. There was 3 or 4 times where I was here and I almost sat down and turned it on, but I just didn't, like, my soul was crushed. And so I went on a few fishing trips, started smashing a bunch of fish, having fun, kind of getting me back in the mood. And you know, I I realize my daughter is a grown woman. I'm not going to fight her and do what she doesn't want. I'm here to support her 110%. You know, it'd be the same thing as if she was 18 and moving out. Just she's growing up. So as a dad, it's like at that moment where your kids are leaving, but normally you should be like happy for that. But she's only 14. She's about to turn 15. It hurts real bad. And my son getting bullied, it sucks, man. But anyways, that's where I've been for the last 2 weeks as far as dealing with stuff, business, trying to juggle finances. I'm gonna owe the IRS thousands. So it sucks, but I'll figure it out. I always do. I make money. My business does great during the summer. It's just I started an HVAC company and I'm too fresh. Like I don't have enough clientele to stay afloat during the spring and summer. So if I make 80 grand, it's almost all in the summer. And then my cost of goods, I mean, I might have made 40 grand. So 40 grand a year, that's awesome. That's like 3.5 grand a month almost, right? You're like, that's doing okay. You can pay your bills. But the problem is that's all in the span of like 4 months. So you got to live off of the whole year, and it's really hard to 100% budget correctly. So I'm doing okay. I've got enough to get me through another month or so. I just pray I can juggle things until the weather turns warmer. And it's good. It's been almost in the 80s. So work will pick up. Things will get better. I don't worry there. What I worry about is I worry about my kids. I pray that my daughter is safe. I pray that she has a good life and makes good decisions while I'm not there to help guide her. Hope her mother does. I don't think her mom's a bad mom either. I'm not down in my ex-wife, so I just pray that she can protect her, raise her, and take care of her. And on my son's behalf, I just pray that he stops getting bullied or has the strength to deal with the bullies, and that that works itself out. Almost everybody's dealt with bullies, so it's not like it's anything new. It's just this is crazy to see a half Mexican kid get bullied for being white. And then, like I said, it got real bad. They pantsed him during a soccer game and took it, did it on video and laughed at him and stuff. And he's you know he's a tough little dude. So, but like I said, let's get that over with. So that I wanted you guys to know what's been going on and hopefully send me a prayer. Now, so I've kind of dealt with that I know I've got to, you know, accept fate for what it is and just do the best I can, roll with the punches. And so that's why again I don't usually talk about this kind of stuff, but it helps just to hear people say, hey, it's going to be okay, or hey, we're praying for you. Um, little bit at a time, right? One day at a time, one foot at a time in front of each other. So hence I've also been doing a lot of fishing. I've been taking my son fishing. I'm going to take my daughter fishing. I'm going to spend a lot of time with her before she goes. We're going to have a lot of fun. But in the meantime, if I'm not working or absolutely attached to my family at the hip, then I'm fishing. So with that being said, I'm going to be the whole BBT circuit. I plan on fishing all the way through. We've done the first tournament at Don Pedro. This weekend we have the BBT at McClure. So we're going to go to that because we're doing, I think, the central region. So and then I got to check what's next. I think it's New Melones in April or something like that, or so. Uh, we'll be hammering that lake pretty good for sure. And McClure's at BBT. The BBT's at McClure this Saturday. So Wednesday, Thursday of this week, you'll be seeing me at McClure. I'm going to be camping out, fishing nonstop, trying to put together a real solid pattern just to hopefully get a chance. If I bomb it, I bomb it. So you guys will get to see that video once the tournament's over. You'll see my pre-fishing, the BBT tournament. And then I'm hoping to drop in on the 1790 Club at Salt Springs and go fish that one. So I'll be out there as well in the next. So after the Saturday tournament at BBT at McClure, I'll be at Salt Springs. So let's read some comments real quick. Then we're going to get into fishing. I appreciate everyone. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Smash that like button. If you're new here, please subscribe. This is a channel where I'm very open like a book. I tell everybody what's working, where I'm catching them, what I'm catching them on. And then for those of you out of state and out of area, I genuinely try to do good fishing videos and fishing tips. Like I need to start doing more whiteboard videos where I break down the contour, the bottom, what different weights, how they affect like in those situations. Like what do you want to use and what? For example, if you're fishing in wood and the water's not very deep, you want to go with the lightest weight possible so you can pull that over the wood without pulling it into the wood and then perhaps getting your hook stuck in there. So showing you like if you've got a vertical cliff like this and you're fishing you've got to fish 10 times slower than you really think you do if the bite's slow, because every time you lift your rod tip, you're not dragging that lure down, you're actually lifting the lure off, and then that gravity is kind of it's having, you know, it's leaving a lot of the bottom not being contacted, right? Because there's a lot of times of the year those fish hit when the bait is on the bottom. They need bottom contact. If it's hopping around too much, they're not going to grab it. So we do all kinds of stuff like that. We break down tips and tricks, you know. And I'm no pro, so this isn't Tactical Bassin. This isn't Brian Latimer. This is just average Joe dude sitting in his man cave, hanging out with you guys, talking fishing, just keeping it real. Great community too. You guys are awesome. You guys are really good people. So, you know, welcome to the channel and thank you. So let's read some comments and we'll go ahead and get back to fishing here. So thank you so much, Gray Wolf. Thanks, Charles Chalk. Thank you, Mario with Let's Get It Fishing. Paul Leal, thank you as well. Yep, Tony Duran. Yep, Big Bass King. Hey, Victor, nice to see you. Big Vic, Little Vic, you guys are awesome. Yeah, I worked in Livingston. I lived in Livingston. I was homeless and I lived in Livingston for 2 years, almost a year and a half. And me and 5 other people, my family, all lived in a motel room and did what we had to scrape by when I was like 18, 19. And that was right after my little, like, it was, I know I might have been like 20, 21, because I was homeless, I think, or 19 to 20. So pretty crazy. So I've got some stories I could tell you guys too. We'll save that for another night. We'll do like a crazy story night. We'll tell you guys all about the time we got stalked by mountain lions. I ran into mountain lion like 3 or 4 times. Tell you about the time crashed cars, saving lives, and helicopters, and you know, burning houses, and you name it. We got plenty of crazy stuff we've been through. So yeah, it is, but it is, yeah, it sucks, man. So thank you, Barefoot Bassin. Hey, Racho Bunch. So I just told you guys a story. I don't really, if you guys want to go back and watch it, you guys can. I appreciate you. I just don't want to sit here all night every time we get a couple new viewers in here and retell the story. So go check it out. I let you guys know about my daughter and my son. A couple of things going on that have just been weighing me down. So why I haven't been here the last couple of weeks. If I might seem a little off, just want you guys to know. So, but you know, I'm just got to roll with the punches. You only have one life, and try to always see the glass is half full, not half empty. Pessimism rarely serves you any good. So, with that being said, let's talk about fishing. If you guys have any questions, tips, or tricks you guys want to break down, anything you want to add to the comments, to the stories, to the fishing stuff, whatever, feel free to leave a comment there. Again, remember, everybody, I don't know it all. I never act like I do, and I'm learning just as well as everybody else is. So I love sharing information, and if you guys want to, you know, drop a comment and let us know. But today, for the other rest of the video here, we're going to talk fishing. New Maloney's, how's it been, dude? New Maloney's has been on fire. So I seen like something between 7 and 9 pounds. I'm gonna call it 8. Not something. I seen a spotted bass that was just The biggest spotted bass I've ever seen with my own two eyes, and I've got a 6 pound spotted bass, and this thing was easily bigger than that. So New Maloney's has been really good. Just remember, if you're going out to New Maloney's for the next few days, probably bottom contact. Don't lift your lure. Don't hop it. Ned rigs, Nico, jigs, swim jigs, Texas rig, whatever you want. Just keep it on shaky head. Keep it on the bottom and drag it. Don't pop it. So just a slight drag to the side. And then when you feel weight, just set the hook. You're either snagged or you're not. When do you think Delta will start cracking? Thanks, Ray. One day at a time, buddy. So Delta is a river system, and the rivers are colder than the lakes. So the Delta always takes off on spawn a little bit late. The lakes is always a little bit early, not always, but a lot of the time. Guys swear spawn's cracking off in March, mid March, late March, and April, and into maybe the beginning of May, but mostly April and March. Crazy. I got videos of bass on beds in February. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to say all of them are up there. Hell no. They come in waves. But I'll look you dead in your eye and say you're wrong as hell if you don't think they're spawning in February, because they are. And I've got proof of it, 100%. I don't mean all of them. It may be the smallest fish. I have no clue, but I have 100% proof of bass on beds in February. Now, we are talking the last week of February, not early or mid-February. We're talking like literally February 27th and 28th type stuff. But they were on beds, which means they were pre-spawn and swimming around for a week or two before that, which is where you can use these puppies. Oh, sorry. Crankbaits, spinner baits. So the bite's going to be one way or another. So for me, in my opinion, the bite's going to be this right now while we close out the winter bite. The bite's going to be something like this on the bottom, closing out the winter to spring transition. Once you see enough fish lifted off and they're in 40, 30 feet suspended, it don't matter. Once you start seeing enough of them fish shallow, you need to start throwing lures like this. You need to go reaction, because that's how you're going to plug those pre-spawn fatties that are looking to eat. And that's how you'll get those big mamas before they go to set up on a bed. Because if you wait till they set up on a bed, you can get them. Here's something that's going to happen. You come across a 5-pound bass, and she's got a 1-pound male with her, 2-pound male with her. Anything you throw at the bed, the male is going to get first. The female's going to sit back and wait. Usually that male's going to attack it first. One of two things is going to happen. You're going to catch the male and let it go, or you catch the male and the female gets paranoid and backs off. So what you have to do is you have to catch the male and box it and wait long enough, and the female will come back up and sit there and wait like, hey, where's the dude at? Then you can get her to bite. The other thing to do, Tactical Basson's done a video on this, throw a bigger bait that the male can't handle, like a swim bait, especially if it's a big enough bass. And let the male attack the jig, swim bait, let it pick the bait up, move it off the bed, just cast it again. You do it enough times, that female is going to be like, move out the way, fool, let me show you how it's done, and then crush that bait. So they waste a lot of your time to get a good fish when they're on a bed. Otherwise, you can cruise the shore and get 2 to 3 pound males, big males, and some females as well. But those real monsters can be real tricky to get sometimes. But pre-spawn, when they're fattening up, most guys aren't even aware of when pre-spawn starts until they start seeing beds. So if you're seeing beds, it's already too late. Well, at least for those fish, because they're on spawn mode now, or they're starting the process, right? The female may not even have came up. It may just be the male up there sweeping the bed off, in which case you still got some chance to go out deeper for the female. But if you're the first one on that bite, then you're usually the happiest camper, the best one on that bite, right? So when that bite switches from them being like this, then it'll move to them being on this. Now, here's the key, though, is they're not all doing it at the same time. So not all the bass are going to just go up and start pre-spawning or spawning. So there'll be some out deep while there's some moving up shallow. There'll be some suspended while there's still some out deep, while there's some up shallow. And then once that first set is done and more come up, they may you're almost always going to have fish out deep almost all times of year, and you're almost always going to have fish shallow even if there's no spawn. So don't put yourself in a box, but I would highly recommend be prepared in the next few weeks with this warm weather to start throwing things like a square bill if you're going to get up in the shallows, mid to deep diving crankbaits, and then if you're going deeper than your crankbait can get, A rigs and spinner baits. Really slow though. The key is if you're going to use these, you want to be erratic. You want to pulse them a little bit. You want to reel them real slow and then pop it and then reel it a little fast real quick and then stop, let it die. You want to do some things you can't see unless you have a live scope. You can't see if there's a fish following it. You can't see if there's a fish interested in it. You only know when you get bit, right? And then, or you reel and all of a sudden, oh no, there's a 10-pounder follows your spinnerbait right to the boat. And then now you can catch it. It goes off, right? Well, you can still catch it, but it becomes a lot harder. So if you just assume that you have a follower on every cast, and if you're not getting bit by about halfway through your retrieve or a third of the way, do a little twitches, let it die, let it fall and hit the ground. Do some different things. One of the ways I used to use a spinnerbait, I used to cast it out and use it like a jig. Swear to God. And I used to murk it doing that. I just bomb it into 100 feet of water or 80 feet or whatever I thought it was, or just let it sink all the way to the bottom and jig that sucker up and then let it sink, reel in the slack, jig it up like yo-yoing an LV 500. I'd do it with a spinnerbait. Sometimes the line would get twisted in it a little bit, but most of the time it worked all right. And I cracked fish doing that. I haven't done that in probably over 10 years, but that was one of my techniques I used to do. Because again, see, as a fisherman, what happens is we start out fishing and we learn a couple techniques or lures and we stick with them for a while. And then when we learn another one, we stick with it for a while until we cycle through. And then once you've learned almost all the techniques and lures, then the trick is, because then you start getting favorites, right? Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that. And then you do it too often. The trick is trying to remember when to throw what in what situations. So for example, we're going to be having a ton of sun, right? But probably not much wind. If we had sun, heat, and a little ripple and wind, oh, killer, right? Morning time, killer. Afternoon, killer. But fishing changes and evolves throughout the day. One thing I've noticed around this time is you can probably take a crankbait or a spinnerbait and catch some fish in the morning or some top water. And then as 9, 10 o'clock approaches, you might have to go to a drop shot or a Ned rig or something and rotate it through until they fully become more active. Then you can just usually cruise the shoreline, throw a crank or a spinnerbait or a jig up shallow, run it parallel, and you'll catch them all day. And the big ones will be up there too, up until a certain point. Then when summer comes, they split out throughout the lake. They're everywhere. You might find, I got a bass, a double digit 2 years ago in the summer sitting in 10 feet of water. And then there was another time my buddy got him. It was like 30 foot deep, same time of year. And I got an 8.5 pounder out of like 50 or 60 feet. So these guys do some crazy things in the summer. They'll split apart and they'll go everywhere. The lake gets just like, sometimes they're in one arm more than the other, but summertime, you can almost cruise any shoreline and pick fish off. So not any, but most of them. Hey, Marco, nice to see you on. So let's read some more comments and we'll get on with some more fishing talking. So New Maloney's one day at a time. Gerbs, when do you think Delta will start cracking? So, sorry, Gerbs. Delta will start cracking, I think, in April will be its spawn. So March will probably be its pre-spawn. So right now throughout February, I would assume drop shots, bottom bouncing, slow fishing, find weed edges, find spawning flats, spawning grounds, and fish near them. So one good area in the Delta that is an awesome spawning ground is Benjamin Holt. It's like 6 foot deep throughout the whole thing, maybe 8 foot deep, right? 6 to 8 feet deep. There's no deeper part, like maybe in the middle where the biggest of the big little yachts might go, it might be 10 or 12, but I think it's like 8 feet deep uniformly. There's some hard bottom and some nice chunk rock in the back and on the sides. Plenty of protection, shade. Bait fish can get pinned in there. They'll go up into Wacky Rig's a great one. Yeah, Wacky Rig, Drop Shot, Texas, anything just probably finesse right now. I would say that the time to pull out the crankbaits and jerk baits and spinner baits for the Delta will be sometime in March. I would start right away early and check it out, but I wouldn't waste my time right now. Check water temp because see, we don't have snow melt coming down yet, but with this real hot temperatures, we should start having the lakes fill up pretty quickly, which means the rivers, the dams will open up and the rivers will start, not flooding, but getting fresh, cold water from the bottom of the lake because the dams don't let the water out from the top. So a lake might be 65 or 63-degree temp, in the top half, and then the bottom half might be in the low 40s or 50s, right? Or 50 something, I think. And so you're going to have much colder water coming through the rivers and then flushing into the delta. And then you have the cold tidal ocean water comes in when the incoming tide, right? So it's just a recipe for colder water, which means that the bass will start spawning a little later. Little side note at the delta, we have caught my buddy, wasn't me, but we were together, caught a 7.5 pound bass on a bed in, was it, I don't think it was July, it was June. It was June on a bed, like middle of June, 100 degrees outside, hot as shit. Big old bed cleared off, and there's a big fat bass sitting on it. And my buddy's like, "That's a bass on a bed." And we go to it, and the bass kind of spooks a little bit and comes right back. Sure enough, it's a bass on a bed. You noise it enough, boom, 7.5 pounder. Like, psh, damn. So the delta's a little late. The lakes, though, I think are going to be more. I think they're going to be turning on pre-spawn. So, yeah, weightless wacky is a great one at the Delta. Nico is basically a wacky rig, but with a nail weight on the end. So that Nico rig is a super killer technique. I wouldn't sleep on the Nico too. So weightless wacky, Nico, drop shot, Texas rig. I'd probably be fishing mainly that stuff or a small, maybe a 3/8 or a 1/8. It just depends on tide and water level. I would basically right now one of the other things I'd be throwing is a little swim bait, like a little 3 inch, maybe 4 inch at max, like Kitech, with Texas rigged with a little bullet weight, and just creep that through the vegetation and stuff. And on the outside edges right now, I wouldn't fish up shallow. I'd be fishing. And right now, the bass are going to be sitting because they should be. I don't know. I haven't been to the Delta in a few months. So I know to stay away from the Delta in the winter. Trust me, I've been there so much. Like you can get them and you can smack them. When you're Delta rat, you can still figure them out and get them. But even then, it's freaking hard. I would much rather go to New Maloney's and catch 40 fish in a day and catch a bunch of 2 and 3 pounders with a chance at a big old double digit than go to the Delta and struggle to catch like 3, maybe 5 if you're lucky. You might not even get a limit. So I'd know as soon as December hits, I stay away from. I might fish the Delta up until about November ish, and then December, January, February, I leave that place alone. And then I go back as soon as the weather turns up. So warm March or something. Yeah, that's what I think. Early March is when I think the Delta will kick on, and then it should be on full on swing, full on spawn in April, and mid March to April. And at the lakes here, I would be expecting them to already be on beds early March and even late February. So pre-spawn, and like I said, I just seen like an 8 pound or so spotted bass, definitely in pre-spawn stage, very active, swimming around top of the water column, over 60 feet of water in a shade line, clearly hunting. And we had made like 3 or 4 casts, and I think that's what the splashing drew its attention, like something was going on, because we made 2 casts and we almost like kind of crossed each other's lines. So we both reeled in really quick and then made 2 more. And then this time our casts were only 3 or 4 feet apart. So within a matter of 30 seconds, you have 2 really loud splashes. Then that stuff reeled in, and then another. So it's like there's some kind of feeding going on. Next thing you know, this monster shows up. Like, whoa. So I wish I had some top water, a jerk bait or a spinner bait. I think I could have caught that fish if I had spotted it soon enough, which is another thing. So I didn't have glasses on. I wasn't, it's not, when it's not like spawn, when it's not spawn time or pre-spawn or summer, I don't usually have my sunglasses on. In the wintertime, I just go out there, put a hat on. So I made sure to pick up a pair of polarized glasses so that I can see a little farther, a little deeper. The next time I see something like that, I'll know to not spook it and cast past it and to the side of it to get its attention, and use something like a jerk bait or a spinner bait. A jerk bait's nice because I can rip it and move it fast if I think that's what's getting its attention and it looks like it's going to commit. Or I can pause it. Like if I get it to look at it, kind of swim towards it and almost looks like it's going to go away, I can jerk it once and then just stop. You might get the bass to turn around and then just a little twitch. It's almost like, see, when you got live scope, you can look on your live scope, you can see a bass come up, follow your lure. You can try dead sticking. The bass commits, great. Now you know what to do every time you see one. Follow your lure for that day or for however long the bite stays like that. You might say, hey, I need to rip it really quick. All of a sudden, the bass darts forward, and then you stop ripping it, and the bass stops. So then you can start developing your plan, but that's almost like cheating. So I don't have the money for one of those. I played with one. It's pretty fun, but I know a lot of guys that have them, and it makes their fishing a lot better sometimes, but they also get too engrossed with that fish finder. And I think they're too worried about, and it helps, I think, with sometimes with those giants that are pre-spawn or they're moving around, hard to kind of, nail down what the hell they're doing. Because anyone can toss a drop shot or a bottom bouncer out and just wiggle the worm and catch a fish. But catching them when they're suspended is real tricky, because they could be suspended over 300 feet of water. They could be suspended over 20 feet of water. Who knows? And then how deep are they? Are they 1 foot underneath the surface? Are they 15, 20 feet down? What kind of lure are you going to use to get them? Depends on how deep they're suspended. So, fish finder, man, I haven't had a fish finder for 2 years, and I finally got a fish finder. So it's helping a little bit. So 2 years of blind fishing, but it's also hurting a little bit because I did 2 trips where I was all gung ho because now I got this fish finder. I got brand new batteries. I got my live well working. I'm like, yeah. And I wasted like half the day grafting. And then I found fish, but I couldn't really get them to bite because I'll tell you right now, at McClure, I found massive amounts of fish in 80 to 90 feet. However, they were just about 15 feet off the bottom. So nothing bottom bouncing was working at all. They wouldn't come down. They wouldn't look at it. They want nothing. I tried yo-yoing LV500s, blade baits. I tried drop shot and counting down. I tried using lures, letting it hit the bottom and then reeling them 10 feet up to have it right in the middle of the school and mess with them. And I couldn't get those bastards to bite for anything. But I spent over half my day fishing like that. Had I just relaxed and fished, I know I would have done a better job figuring them out that first trip. Second trip, I did a little better, caught some more fish, but I still kind of focused too much on my fish finder. When I went to Maloney's, I learned from that mistake. And I used my fish finder to make sure I wasn't in 200 feet of water thinking I was in 80, or to make sure I wasn't directly drop shotting into a tree. But other than that, that was it. It was nice to see some fish there. Okay, great. But I was just figuring them out. And the way I would do that is I'd position my boat in about 30 to 40 feet of water, or somewhere in there, 35, 40, 45. And then I would cast all the way to 5, 10 feet of water, work it to me, then turn around and cast in 80 feet of water, work it to me. Where am I getting bit, and where am I getting bit best, and where are the bigger fish coming out of? It was a no-brainer. Figured it out within like an hour or two. Boom, the fish were in 50 to 80, 90 feet. And I just been mollywomping them ever since the last few trips. So it's been a great time. I know we haven't been murking it like that, but I mean, shoot, if I looked at all the tournament standings, we would have placed top three almost every trip I've been out at New Maloney's. We've done 12, 13 pounds, 14 pounds, 11 pounds maybe at the worst. So I've been there quite a bit the last couple weeks while I've been kind of decompressing and dealing with this stress and all this stuff. So I took my son out there, I took a buddy out there, I took another buddy out there. I went by myself with my dog. So yep, plenty of time line on your reel. Oh yeah, that's what I got this for. So tonight, as soon as we're done with this live stream, I'm gonna go to my stuff. I'm gonna rig up my all my spinning rods are gonna have. I'm gonna have a Ned rig. I'm gonna have a drop shot, and then I'll probably put like a Nico or something on my other one, and then I'll probably have like a backup Ned rig or something like that on my other one, maybe different weight size, maybe the full size Ned rig with a full Cinco or something. So those will be my spinning rod setups. With my bait casters, I plan on having a jig on, and I might throw like a Texas rig or a tube or something. I'm going to have a spinner bait on, and then I'm going to have a crankbait. And I want to have two crankbaits. So I'm going to two crankbait rods. One's going to be shallow, so I'm going to throw a square bill to see if I got anything up shallow. And then I'm also going to use a deep diver, so anything in the 20, 25 foot range. I'm just going to slow crank it. Morning Dawn, you know it, Gerbs. That's one of my favorite colors. So I bought a pack too. I only grabbed out what I was showing you guys. My Morning Dawn pack's in the boat. So, but yeah, I grabbed Morning Dawn Robo Worms, and for the Ned rigs, it's been a green color, greenish red or green and purple. So the two colors that have really been really good for me have been California Craw, and then there's a color called New Money. And to be honest, New Money was better than the California Craw, but they didn't have it. They were all out. So if you can get some New Money, that's really been the ticket that I've been smacking them on. But any green color, any dark green, they've been really killing it on. They were way. I was throwing PB&J, a PB&J Ned rig. I got a couple, but they just seem to be really keyed in on that like goby-ish green color, sculpin, greenish brown, green. And being that it's that deep too, I think having that little bit of a darker color helps out the contrast so the bass can see it a little better. And then lastly is I would be strongly recommending 1/4 ounce Ned rigs. I would be using the heavier one because I want to feel how heavy that Ned is. It needs to be a little heavy, and I want it down quick. The bass are not they're not most of them anyways are not suspended. They're near or right on the bottom. So I'm not trying to have it fall through a school or anything. I want it shooting straight down as quick as possible. So I want to use the heaviest weight that I feel comfortable with. Now, being that I'm using a medium action spinning rod, I don't want to have so much weight that I'm loading up just to lift my tip to drag my Ned rig. So I want it to have some feel to it, though, if that makes sense. Hey, RC Creative, nice to see you in the house tonight. Glad to see everybody on. We got Mike Dozier. Let's read some more comments here. Marco Houston. San Jose Love, Smoking Aces. Thanks. Appreciate it, brother. Where's the first spot you like in Delta for pre-spawn? For pre-spawn, the first spot that I like to go to is going to usually be right around. I'll basically fish. What's his name? I'm going to fish Ben Holt. I'm going to fish the outside points of Ben Holt, and right across from Ben Holt, and those 2 points, White Slough a little bit, and then I'm going to head to the main, and I'll fish where Party Cove is. I'll go across to Windmill Cove and I'll fish that outside cove. And then I fish boat ramps a lot. So I'll go fish. There's a little hidden boat ramp in Windmill Cove that almost always has like a 2 or 3 pound bass stacked on it. And in the back of Windmill Cove, there's a pipe that comes in back there where the water comes in and out. Yeah, been a minute, buddy. Appreciate it. I told everybody the story. So when we're done tonight, if you want to go rewind and check out, you can hear about my daughter and my son, some of the things I'm going through right now. Asking for prayers. So thank you everybody for your support. Who's the most interesting YouTuber in your area? Well, me, duh. I'm the most interesting, I think, as far as I'm probably pretty eccentric a bit. I do a bunch of weird, fun stuff. I do giveaways. We do live streams. I do all kinds of crap. But I'd have to say, other than me, I don't know too many in this area. Tyler Frey is known, but he's not very interactive. You can tell a lot of YouTubers are kind of closed in and they put their videos out because they want to become successful, but they're not real chatty. They're not giving you tips or tricks. And then just a lot of them too, like Greg Blanchard. Once you get big enough, it's like there's so many people that want to fish with you. It's like they don't have time to answer messages and stuff. So I'll have to say I really enjoyed fishing with Small Fry Rye. He's a very thoughtful person. He's pretty intelligent, and he's genuinely pleasant to be around. Um, so Blanchard's Small Fry Rye is, I think, a buddy of Blanchard's. So he's fished with Blanchard, and I think he knows him a little bit. So I got a chance to fish with Small Fry Rye. We took him out to Kelsey Bass Ranch. We got a video together. He's not even monetized, but he's one of my favorite YouTubers actually in this area. Of course I've seen In Deep on the Delta, Steve Cooper, Bearded Bassin, um, guys like that, Coach Miguel. Um, there's a lot of smaller ones too that I've been trying to help out. Uh, but I'd have to say in California, really the biggest known guy that I know of is probably Greg Blanchard in this area. Tactical Bassin's out in Tennessee now, I think, right? And then so some of my favorite YouTubes, uh, I'll have to check out that for you if you're still watching, Bobby. I just got a message asking me who's running the tournament at New Maloney's next weekend. I think it's going to be, I don't know, because I know New Maloney's is on for BBT, but I think it's later in the year, or at least for my region. It might be the Northern's turn at it because BBT is going to be at McClure. So I don't know if it's BBT or Future Pro Tour might be those guys. You got the biggest bass clubs in this area are going to be Future Pro Tour, BBT, and New Gen that are on like the lower, like mid-tier level. Then you get into Western Bass and all this other stuff like that. You get into the bigger clubs, I think. I don't know if Western Bass is bigger. I think so. See, I'll be honest. If I don't know, I'll tell you. I don't know. Fisherman Wilson, Bass Union. Yeah, Union. Live Fast Movement Outdoors and Infinite Bassin. Yeah, yeah. I've watched those guys. Um, I'd have to say my favorite channels to honestly watch though as a fisherman, because I don't watch very fish. I don't. The reason I don't watch a lot of bass fishing videos on YouTube is because I'm a YouTuber, and so I don't want to copy anyone, inadvertently bite anyone, and then I don't want to suffer from the doc talk syndrome, where you watch some dude cracking fish on his video, but you have no idea when it was actually taken. You know when it was released, but it could have been filmed a month or two ago. You can see maybe what they're catching them on, but a lot of guys will entertain you with a fun fishing video, and they may, some like Greg Blanchard will even show you where he's at, this and that. But I'll actually try to point you to the actual spot, like, hey, I'm right here. But so I don't like watching too many, to because I don't want to be accused of stealing any content. I like my ideas to be original, fresh, and original to me. So I like discovering things and learning things on my own. But I do watch some fishermen, and I have to say that Fish the Moment is one of my favorites to watch with the little youngster. Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat is also another one. He's a really just comes off as a genuinely nice dude. He's a pro bass fisherman. Brian Latimer's cool. He's not been doing a lot on his YouTube page. He's a pro as well, but I prefer guys like Intuitive Angling over guys like Scott Martin. Milliken Fishing's cool in the sense to watch him catch monsters, but I don't like cocky people. And also, when you got a backyard stocked with just double digits, I mean, like Bama Bass and those guys, it's like, well, I'm more of the underdog, right? Supporting the little guy trying to get big. Once you're big, it's like, okay, cool. You're big. That's great. Hey, but it's like if you maintain that cool attitude while being big, I think that's why tactical bassin has been so successful. Is I don't know them personally, but on video and on air, they come off as genuinely trying to give you guys tips and tricks. They genuinely try to push what they think is going to catch the bigger fish, and they don't hide what they're catching the big fish on. However, when they were at Clear Lake, they would not show you the location. They were smart enough to try to hold the camera just right to catch the action and catch the lure and tell you they're at Clear Lake. But when they unbox it, maybe they're sitting in some stuff, maybe halfway on the other side of the lake that they actually caught it on. And they're not going to tell you when they were at Clear Lake, they're not, hey, we're on this point, we're on that. They weren't like that, but still they seemed to be pretty good people. And I think that's what wins. What wins my vote is when you're like a good person, when you start getting too cocky and crazy, which of course I don't get cocky and I might get a little crazy though, right? Go down the rabbit holes and stuff, but I try to avoid stuff that turns people off. And so, like those are my favorite. Thai Pig Patrol is cool too. He goes out all over the world and catches monsters. So he looks like he's living a fun life. He's actually got a couple million subs, I think. He's one of the biggest YouTube fishing channels I think around is Thai Pig Patrol, actually. Dude catches some hogs. So let's read some more comments and then we'll get on with the fishing talk. And again, if you guys just comment away, I'm enjoying this. Bass Union, yeah. Thank you, RC Creative. If you're still here, I really appreciate it. Yeah, you're still here. You just commented. I'm reading up here. I have a high school FPT Saturday, Future Pro Tour at Maloney's. Is FPT Future Pro Tour? Because Future Pro Tour doesn't have a high school thing. They have little boat, big boat, and stuff like that. And then they have Northern and Central, but I don't think they have like a high school division. Yeah, right, RC. Sometimes life kicks you in the nuts, right? Nice Star Wars collection. May the Force be with you. Thank you, Martin. Yep, that's only what you see right there. Over here, let's see if we can do this correctly. I don't know if you're still there. But yeah, we got more Spawn. Oh, you guys weren't supposed to see that. We gotta keep it just right. There's my Street Fighter over there. I have the big one and the little one. So appreciate you guys. I think you and May went to school together. Huh? Cool. Common Sense is by far most interactive. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's what I try to be. I want to try to maintain this, and if we get big, I still want to kind of host it like this. It'll just be hard to read comments when we get so many people in here that chat's just flying. So that's what super chats will be for. So what we'll do is we'll do topics, and then basically anyone who super chats, we'll read your chat, we'll discuss it, and then we'll move on. If I can get the channel that big, that'd be awesome. But in the meantime, of course, and even then, if it just happens to go slow enough, I can read everybody's comment. I'm going to read everybody's comment, interact with you guys. If you have a question, I'll try to answer it. And again, I don't know it all. So I'm never going to tell you like this is how you have to do it. I'll just say this is how I'm catching them. And if you're in another state, I can try to give you tips and tricks based on the water clarity, depths, and temperatures and weather and stuff in that state. So if I don't mind pulling Google Earth up and doing all kinds of cool stuff. So I appreciate you guys and gals. You're why I do this. I'm actually been monetized now for a little over a year, and it looks like I made last year since they didn't monetize me in the beginning of the year, it was like a couple months through. So I made like $900 last year on YouTube. So hey, here to that. Hopefully we can make a little more this year, a little more next year. We keep doing it, maybe it'll pay for my fishing trips or even a little more. That'd be great. That's the idea. But also, it's just building friendships, building a community, building memories, stuff that you just can't take away. I'll always remember these times. Just the fun stuff. It's just cool. It's something different. They didn't have this around. I'm 40 years old, so the internet was obviously around when I was like a teenager, but most people we didn't use it much until we were about 15, 16, 17, old AOL dial-up crap. So the internet's really only evolved to what it's been or what it is now the last 10 years. So this is just awesome where we've been able to take things and go with it. So I almost started a YouTube channel like 10 years ago, like real early, when I just was doing real good too. And I wish I could have shared so much of these tournament wins, so much of the struggles too. You guys would have loved being, I swear to God, when I first started fishing the Future Pro tours, we used to fish in a rubber raft, a blow up rubber raft with a 12-volt battery and a milk crate, a trolling motor, and a piece of wood. And that's all we would do. And then after the first year, my buddy spent like his tax return money or some of it and bought a little 2.5 outboard motor. So then we had a little gas tank, right? And the motor had a tank in the motor. So it was like a lawnmower. We had to stop when we ran out of gas. We had to stop in the middle of the lake, sometimes big old waves, right? Clear Lake. I'll tell you a story about that. And we're in the middle. So we'll take you there real quick. So we're in the middle of the Clear Lake, 5-foot swells, and the boat is a rubber raft and it's folding and it's doing all this crazy shit, right? And I'm in the front, just whoa, and there's water coming over us, and we run out of gas. Boom, 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 boom. Motor stops, right? So then Jeremy has to turn around, open the top off of the motor, and then dump gas in it, and then turn it, close it back up, and then pull the string, and then we're off again. In a rubber raft, I kid you not, in a rubber raft fishing against guys with 250, 275 horsepower motors with their power poles and all their good stuff. And sure enough, we took home 12 plaques, over the course of like 2.5, almost 3 years of fishing the Future Pro Tour. And I did all of my time in the Future Pro Tour in a rubber raft. My back hurt so bad. It was so miserable. My knees, my hips. It was the most miserable but yet fun fishing. You guys would have, man, I swear to God, if I could have had, if you could have seen us putting across Clear Lake with 5-foot waves in the summertime, right? Just so it felt good, but still we were kind of scared. We had our life vests on. I'm singing and yelling and like just to deal with the anxiety. We're acting like Captain Dan from Forrest Gump. You call this a storm? We're going off. It wasn't like storming, but it was windy and the waves were crazy. Oh man, there were times, especially that Clear Lake trip, the entire raft filled up with water. And we were fishing. I kid you not, we were fishing in a damn bathtub because we don't have no bilge pump. We didn't have a bucket to bilge, right? We were in a rubber raft. It either sunk or it floated. And that's all it was. And so we had our life jackets on. We weren't too stupid. And so there was, like I said, there was tournaments where we're doing 10, 12 hours. And the first hour or two, because we make our run first. So the first hour or two, the boat's filled with water. So the rest of the day, from 10 o'clock in the morning until weigh-in, we're sitting in like 1.5 foot of water. Your butt, your privates, your feet, everything is just soaked, and we're just catching fish. And we had an ice chest with 2 bubblers, a bubbler on each side with the little hose going in, and we kept our fish in the ice chest. So Had a ton of fun. Maybe it will pay for Charlie's food. You guys didn't see what I did? Hold on real quick. You guys will love this. Please don't go anywhere. This will take like 10 seconds. So I did something dumb, but wait till you see. So he's got a little company. So give me just a moment. Smash that like button, especially for what's coming up. I'm gonna run in the house. I'm gonna go snatch something. You guys you don't want to miss this. So talk amongst yourself, please. Hang out. I want to show you guys this. I'm super excited about this. Let me show you. All right, folks. If this isn't about the cutest thing you ever saw, then you've seen some cute stuff, I guess. Whew. So I did something stupid. Meet. This is Dakota. And this one is Trudy. Dakota and Trudy. Hey, girls. Say hi. So, hopefully, it'll pay for Charlie's and their food. Not just Charlie's food, right? But this one seems to kind of be the leader and the smart one. This one is the big one over here. But she doesn't seem to be too dumb either. They're pretty smart. They're looking at mom. Look at Dakota's like, hey mom, do you guys see yourself on TV? Oh, aren't these guys cute? So now we have 3 German Shepherds. Oh my God. So they're just the cutest little pile of furs. They're 8 weeks old too, and they're massive. Look how big these guys are for 8 weeks old. Like, damn. These big old paws. Oh, they're so cute. You guys ready? You can go with mommy? As they're ready for bedtime. Yeah, I'm going to go with mom. See, Dakota sees mom. She's like, Mama, give me a kiss. And they're like, nope. Here, babe. You take Dakota from me. I'll hang out with Trudy for a second. Dakota seems to be a little whiny. How old is Charlie? Charlie is 10 months to like a year old or so. So he's just about a year old, maybe 13 months, but I think he might be a little younger than what they were saying. I'm not going to have room in my boat. Nope. And then sleeping. Oh, God, it's like having a baby all over again because we don't want them loose to just tear the house up. So they're kenneled at night. And goodness, they did not like that for the first few nights. They're getting used to it, though. Here, you want to take Trudy too? Or you want to come back for Trudy, babe? Go put Dakota out and then come on back for Trudy. She seems to be all right now. So I did a thing. We did a thing. So, you know. And no, I didn't do it because I'm losing my daughter. It wasn't anything to try to like please him. But we actually got these guys like 2 days or 3 days before I found out. So say good boy. Trudy. Say good boy. She just wants to go to mama. Nah, they're not whining. Look, they didn't even whine. Oh, let's see if we can get her to yip. All right, hold on. I'm going to back up. Hopefully the sound isn't too annoying. Bring her here. Bring her here. Let me hold her. I'll give her back. Hold on. Let's try it. You ready, Trudy? Hello! Hello! She actually howls with you. It's so cute. She's like, I'm not gonna do it on command, fool.
You're not doing it right.
You want to try it then? You see if you can get her to do it. Yeah. No. She's whining. She'll start doing it, but she's tired. There she goes. We're teaching her how to howl. We're gonna probably wish we didn't do that, right? Okay, Trudy, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. All right. So, anyways, hope that didn't blow your ears out. But yeah, so I've got 3 fishing partners now. Goodness, my boat's gonna be. Oh, she's out, huh? Yeah. Look at her. Yeah, my boat's gonna be full of big old German shepherds, and those 2 are purebred, so they're gonna be monsters. Charlie, I think, has got a little like husky or something else in him, a little small for a German shepherd. They're gonna be huge. Their paws are as big as his. They're 8 weeks old. So, all right. So, Tyler Real Fishing. Yeah, I've heard about him. So let's read some more comments. And then there was 3. Yeah. Yeah, Pedro's got the easiest ramp. New Maloney's is pretty easy too, but it's definitely Pedro's is way bigger. With some bass in the tub. Yeah, you guys would have got a kick out of us floating around in that raft. Anytime Vince from Future Pro Tour sees me or Jeremy, he always yaps. He tells everybody, "Oh, these guys got their start fishing in a rubber raft." I love it. It's so funny. So yeah, right. I am crazy. We definitely, man. It was like fate knew, we were gonna lose some love and activity in the house, so we had to pick up and make up for it. So now we have 3 dogs, so we keep me running around, keep me busy. Definitely gonna cycle him out on the boat. So Charlie he loves going fishing with me already. If I say ride, his ears poke up. He's like, what? And I tell him fishing, and he just like boom. He tries to. When we go fishing, he wants to jump in the boat when I'm trying to hook it up to the truck and load it. He'll come run over and try to get in the boat. And it's like, no, dude, we got to get to the lake first. So he's a good dog. But yeah, I don't think I'll be able to have 3 full-grown German shepherds on the boat at once. So we'll have to cycle them through. But now we got some fishing buddies now. So the library has a few games that we've been borrowing. So we'll have to think about a game for them. How old is Charlie? Yeah, he's my employer extended me until June, July, so that's okay news, I guess. Been with them since 2013. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Funk. It just sucks when you get bad news, like that. Yep, Tony knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, if they get condescending and too like disrespectful, it just turns people off. I've been there, where I've gone on my rants because I tried to get political and other stuff on the channel. But you know what? I just want to keep this fishing. Because really, I have another channel for all that. So that's Common Sense Talks if you want to see me rant and rave about drama. And it's not even like fishing related. And I'm not a mean or condescending. It's just I'm going off of my opinion. But that's that channel. I try to keep them very separated because I don't want I don't rub people wrong because that's just not who I am. It's just one facet about me is what my take on news and current events. But shoot, I'm a family man. I'm a father, a brother, a son, a lover, a fighter. I'm a good dude. I take care of people. I do, those toy drives every year. There's much more to me than let me just post crap on, videos and talk smack or act like I'm all this and that. And plus, my channel I'm not Milliken Fishing. And even if I was, how they always say, like, oh, I wouldn't change if I was rich. I genuinely believe I'd be one of those guys that really wouldn't change much. If I was rich, it would just give me more opportunities to do the things I love. I would just have bigger giveaways. I would have bigger Christmas toy drives. I'd have a bigger, better boat. But other than that, it'd be same old, doing this. Now Tyler Real, yeah, I think that's a isn't Tyler Real? I think he was. Man, I think was I'm not sure if this is the channel I'm thinking about, but it's a younger guy, and I think he had a smaller channel, and didn't it just recently kind of blow up, or is it the other way I'm thinking? He might be a much bigger channel. I don't remember, but I know I've seen some of his videos. All right, RC Creative, good luck with the heart, Doc. My prayers go out for you, and get some sleep, like Funk says, and take care of yourself, and make sure that you drink lots of water, man. That's like the key, the secret to everything in life, right? Because your blood pressure, if you're not hydrated, your blood gets thick. It'll make your blood pressure go up. Most of our woes, I think, as humans, I think stem from what we eat and drink. So, good luck. And I'm not one to talk. Look at, so not trying to preach to the choir. I just wish the best for you. I pray for you, buddy. And RC's been also a big supporter of this channel for a long time. Just like all of our members here, a big shout out to you guys. So don't forget, we're gonna have another members giveaway here, and we're gonna have another subscriber giveaway. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll probably be doing it next week after all this tournament stuff is done for now. And I might be dropping in on the 1790 club for Salt Springs. If that's the case, it may be towards the end of February, but either way, we're going to have a nice February giveaway. So thanks, everybody. All right. Good night, Funk, and good night, RC. Really appreciate you guys. I know I would buy a bigger rubber raft. Yeah, he's a young kid. That's why I think I know who Tyler Real is. I think I had like talked to him on Facebook a couple of times. I subscribed to his channel when he was, I think, a smaller channel. If it's the guy I'm thinking about, and I think his channel's done pretty decent and grown. We did pretty good, but it seems like the last few months during the wintertime, we hit like a growth stunt where we're growing real slow, but we're growing. And it started to pick up like the last month again. So hopefully, we can hit a mark where I want to do another big giveaway, do like a combo or something, or like a nice Bass Pro Shops gift card for like 150, $200 or something. Every time we hit a milestone, I do a celebratory giveaway. The giveaways aren't to try to get more people to the channel, because it's just to say thank you for the ones that are here. So what'll happen is I'll have a giveaway, and I'll usually get 10 or 15 new subscribers. And then after the giveaway, you lose 10 or 15, maybe, or not quite as much. You might retain 5 of them. But there's a lot of people that are just in it to win it. I can't blame them. You got a guy giving free stuff away on the internet. Hell, I might sign up too, right? But so it's to say thank you guys. So hopefully when people win, it's the people that deserve to. But again, I can't control it. I just use a random name generator, the wheel of names thing, and whoever wins wins. So keep it honest, keep it real. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, everybody who's given me prayers and warm wishes. I appreciate all of you guys. It's been a tough one. I was debating whether or not to even tell you guys about this, because I don't like I don't like what do you call it? Some people, they'll put a sob story out just for attention or something. This is not that. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the video where there's like a big buff dude that talked about, and it's like a YouTube short or something, and talks about when men say they're okay. When you say, "Oh, how you doing?" and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm doing okay," and then it flashes back or talks about what he's really going through. I'm kind of one of those that's a little more silent, as far as I don't usually share my troubles, but these were eating at me bad enough. I felt like I might get some positive reinforcement from the fishing community, for one, but two, it would help you guys understand where I've been the last like 2 weeks, and where I'm in my head right now. So if I'm pumping out some videos and maybe the editing quality is a little lacking, I'm gonna try to not drop off on that aspect. I want to actually get better and better, and get better with my thumbnails and my transitions and better graphics and adding more text to the video. There's a balance though. I don't want to overly put text in like every few minutes or scenes, and but I think I'm going to start trying to include in my videos in the text for the first 30 seconds, or while I'm catching fish, a text might appear telling you what rod, what action, and what line, and what lure, and what depth. So like if I stick a good fish, then in the corner you might see pop up spinning rod, 8 pound fluoro, Ned rig, 45 feet deep. And then I might catch one later that's good. It might say bait caster, medium heavy, LV 500, 55 feet, yo-yo slash jigging action. So I'm going to try to update the videos a little more. And I'm also trying to do intros and outros where I'm welcoming people to today's video, yada, yada. I'm out on the lake. And then I go out and I have fun. And I try to make it more than just, oh, here's another fish out here. We're having fun. Because I still get caught doing that where I catch fish, I record, I hook into the fish because I don't have a battery to record the whole trip. So I'm recording when we're catching them. And so you might miss most of the hook sets. I might be lucky to catch one or two hook sets on video, but the rest of it is me fighting the fish, landing the fish, and then showing it, and then saying, hey, I'm out here at X Lake, and blah, blah. So it can kind of get repetitive if I catch 20 fish in a day and they're all 2 to 3 pounders. And all I'm doing is holding the fish. Oh, thanks for watching. Oh, thanks for watching. Oh, thanks. So I'm trying to spice it up and do a little more information inside of it without getting too talkative. And I'm also thinking I'm learning to I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking I'm learning. I'm hoping I'm learning to cut out some of the fishing. And I don't need to, I think, show every fish because there are trips where I catch 30 or 40 fish. And I don't think you guys probably want to see every stupid 30 or 40 dinks. I think if I focus it down to maybe 10 or 12 of the best fish of the trip, explain what I caught them on and where and how, and the techniques used, I think that'd probably draw more audience in and be more beneficial to you guys. So we're working on all that. Some changes are coming slowly but surely, because we're balancing life and this YouTube at the same time, which I know everyone who has a YouTube channel does. I just can't help but be like, man, if I had 100,000 or if I had 50,000 subs and we're making a couple grand a month, I would be way happy to put much more effort into this. And I put as much effort as I can. Just more of the effort right now is going into the monetary side of it, just trying to afford these fishing trips when I'm not a rich dude. So, I try to just be out there on the lake as constantly as I can so that I can keep putting videos out for you guys. And then also, I kind of feel like the last few weeks before I've been out fishing at New Maloney's and I kind of had this lull for a few weeks, I feel like if I don't have, like while my boat was in the shop, right? My boat was in the shop for like a month and a half, 2 months between the two times it was down. And I'm not out on the lake. When I'm sitting here doing these live streams, it's harder for me to have a conversation when I'm not lying, but I feel like I can give you advice, but it's only based on advice from maybe last year or the year before or what I think, but I'm not on the water to tell you for sure what I'm doing, right? But when I'm on the water catching those fish, it feels great to be able to share it with you guys and gals and say, hey, man, we're doing it like this. So if you're doing it better, great. I learned from you. Leave a comment and let me know. I'll go out and try anything. But if you're struggling, hopefully you can help a little bit, and just to give you maybe a different perspective. So it's always good to, in my opinion, to get fishing information from balanced sources and to basically to open up as far as for me anyways, to open my mind and try new things. Because I'll get stuck in a box where I'm whacking them on the Ned rig. Next thing you know, I'm throwing the Ned rig way too often than I should be. So right now I'm at that analytical stage of my fishing career where I'm getting much better at and then trying to improve on when to use what. And that's what I want to share with you guys. So as I go along this trek, I'm sharing that information that I'm learning. Because I'm 100% with what I'm sharing is what I'm really doing. I don't know if everybody else on YouTube's doing that. Half these guys, like I'm not going to El Salto or, Mexico, Bacharach. I'm not going to these super lakes in Texas. Yeah, California's got some lakes with some monster fish, But there's time and places for those. But there's some lakes in certain states, and even in California, there's some lakes and areas that just have mundos, right? And I don't get a chance to go fish those too often. So I'm fishing mostly the Delta and the Mother Lode. But again, this year, I really hope to get up into the high Sierras, Trinity, Bullard's Bar. I hope to pull in some Magnum spots, some big smallmouth, and maybe even do some river fishing for some smallmouth stuff like that. And Clear Lake. Clear Lake's a big radar, a big target on my radar right now because I fully expect to end up fishing it a couple of times in some of my tournaments. And it's a great lake to fish. So, God willing, all the finances and everything works out, then definitely I'll be at Clear Lake. It's just you got to also where I'm coming from is when I plan a trip, everything's going in my mind, right now, like, can I afford it? Should I spend this money? And so it's so much easier to go to McClure, Pedro, New Melones, McClure, Pedro, New Melones. Anything else just adds like an extra $100 to my day. So the Delta too. So an Eastman's and Hensley are little gems that are right here too that are awesome. And Los Banos Creek Reservoir is a bit far for me, but I love that little lake too. So I haven't done a video there yet, and I haven't done one at Success. I've been warned by many people not to blow those lakes up. So I've kind of taken their words a heed, but at the same time, Tyler Frey's, putting Success on blast. He's been to LBC. Why can everybody else do it, but I can't? Psh, no, I think it's about time for me to go hit those lakes up too. There's just so many fun places and lakes to fish that it's hard to knock them all out in one year because there's only so many months of that prime fishing. And when that happens, I want to be at the Delta. I want to be at New Melones or Pedro. I want to be at Clear Lake. I want to be at the monster bass factories. I don't want to be doodling around at Lake McClure when I could be potentially at Clear Lake or somewhere, right? But at the same time, out of all the lakes I fished, where did I get my double digit? Lake McClure, Lake Don Pedro. Got a double digit at Don Pedro last year, double digit at Lake McClure the year before. So hopefully this year, where's the double digit going to come out of? Maybe New Melones. So I have a trifecta, one out of McClure, one out of Pedro, and then we'll put one out of Melones, right? I've already got one out the Delta and one out of Eastman. So, I'm slowly but surely pulling at least one double digit out of each one of these local lakes. But I really want to get out there to Clear Lake. So, yeah, those are my wants and dreams. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if I had a ton of money, you could send me down the rabbit hole. I thought it was hilarious though. I'd buy a bigger rubber raft because I really get a kick out of sharing the story of fishing out of a rubber raft against big old 21-foot bass boats that can go 70, 80 miles an hour and put in a wampin on them. I mean, not trying to brag or anything. Most of that was probably luck, and I sucked much more at fishing 10 years ago when I did all that than I do now, right? I'm much better, but it was still so freaking fun to go to Folsom too. That was another one. We trekked, we found fish at Folsom, and we didn't know how everyone else was doing. We found fish in the back of the marina in this little creek that came in, and then next to the marina in this cove where there was all these flooded trees. And the lake level was high. It was a flooded almost. It wasn't going over a spillway or nothing, but the lake level was like so high, it was past the high level mark, and it was actually there were trees on the shore that were underwater a little bit, like the like about 5 or 6 feet. And it was a real high lake level that year. And me and Jeremy decided, we fished around like close to where the weigh-in was going to be and just sucked. Didn't do good. So we struggled pre-fishing, and then we found them. It's all right, that's where we're going to go. But it was an hour, maybe an hour and a half drive in our little 2.5 horsepower rubber raft, right? So we make the trek. We're going all the way across the lake in our rubber raft. Everyone's jamming around. Boom, everyone's gone. No, it's dead. We're still putting around. And then you'd see someone pass us, boom, and they're looking at us like, and they could see the little pink bow tie on the trolling motor. You know what I mean? So they know we're in the tournament. And they're just like, you could see everyone neck breaking. what the hell? We get to the back. We're catching 4-pounders and 3-pounders left and right, and just like we didn't have a scale, and we're holding 4-pounders up like this, going, "Which one do you think's bigger? I don't know. Maybe this one. Well, here, you hold it. You tell me." And we're throwing it back, and we get back to the weigh-in, right? And we think, well, if we did that good, everybody must have killed it. And we're in a rubber raft, so maybe we felt good, like maybe we're on top 10. We're gonna get a check. And we go to the weigh-in, and again, this is a Future Pro Tour 100-boat field, right? And they're like, I'll never forget. I think it was Coleman and Frazier or somebody, Matt Frazier or what's his name, Mike Coleman maybe, or no, or what his name is. He fished the Future Pro Tour a lot, and he actually got kicked out, I think, because he won the classic, I think, once or twice. So like he's like pro staff, I think, now. I think he may be working with the tournament series. I haven't been in the Future Pro Tour for a few years. So anyways, these two guys come up to us, right? And so we're in this long train. There's all these trucks. You know how it is. Anyone who's tournament fish, you know how a weigh-in is done when it's not done on the water, near the water, or right by the water. And it's done like up. So you have to get your truck, pull your boat out, and you have to plug your live well or turn your pump on so no water goes out. And then you go up the ramp, and you go up there and you weigh your fish in. Then when you're done, you got to dump them back, right? So it's a Folsom 100 fish event or 100 boat event, and there's all these big lifted trucks, little trucks, medium trucks, all these trucks with all these boats, and we're like smack dab in the middle in a green Geo Metro, I think it is, right? Or Prism. What was it called? The Prism. The old car from the 90s, a little green, little like 2 or 4 door, little coupe looking little car. But I don't know if it was a Prism or the Metro. But anyways, we're in the little car, and we had the ice chest on the roof, right? And we were holding it. And I think, or it was like, or was it in the back seat? No, it was on the roof or the trunk or something. And I think I was riding with it, and we were going real slow. And we get approached to the weigh-in line, and we got big ass cheese eating grins on our face. We're like, happy, can't wait to weigh in, And these two guys, come up to us. I think it was Matt Frazier or Coleman and someone else, and they're like, they see us smiling, and they go, "What do you guys got? Like 18, 20 pounds in your live well?" And we're like, "Yeah, just about." And the guy goes, "No way." He goes, "Bullshit." He goes, "Let me see." And we open it up. Boom. His eyes just light up. Doosh, like saucers. He goes, "Hey, come here. He goes, "Hey, come here." So like a couple of other pro staffers. Next thing you know, we got like 6 pro staff all huddled around the car looking in our live well like, no fucking way. Like, where'd you get them? What'd you do? And so we do our weigh in. Sure enough, 18.6 something or something like that. First place, baby, Folsom. And we go up, get our check to do our little photo. We're all excited. We get our wood. We go for the raffle, all that good stuff. And they're asking us. And we were just like, yeah, we were just throwing drop shots and Cincos, and we were fishing in the trees, and we were in the marina. And we told everybody where we were at and what we were doing. And we caught like 50 fish. Kid you not. We were throwing fish back left and right. And we were literally having an eyeball cull. And even then, we actually screwed up. And we were throwing 4 and 3 pounders back all day. And we missed because the fish were so big. We missed like a 2 3/4 that cost us like 1.5 pounds by not throwing that one back because we didn't have a scale. Every time we were grabbing what we thought was the smallest fish, but that fish was actually hiding. The smaller fish was below the other ones. And there's so many, and it's in this little ice chest. We couldn't tell what was what. So we were laughing. And we get, so we were just having such a great time. So we do the weigh-in. It's 18.66 or 18.68, something like that. And they give us the mic, tell everybody how we did it, and we told them. And every person who was like second, third, or fourth who got to talk and come up, they're like, "We don't know how they did it." They're like, "What the hell?" They're like, guys were talking about they were struggling so hard that they were wanting to drag a 1 ounce weight with a drop shot in like 80 feet of water because they couldn't find the fish anywhere. And everybody was fishing all over the place, running. We could see the boats running and moving, and we were just sitting there. Fished one spot. No, sorry, two. Fished two spots within like 100 yards of each other. And in that spot, we literally fished an area 10 or 15 feet wide. There was this creek that comes in by the marina at the back of Folsom, and there's this big riprap wall. And then it stops and it goes to dirt. And then there's some trees in the middle. We caught all our fish on that riprap wall on that point where it goes into a creek. All of them there was just tons of fish, right? Just fish after fish after fish. And when we were done there, we went around the corner to those flooded trees, and we already had like 16, 17 pounds. So we were cool. And these people were partying, loud music, girls in their bikinis and thongs and booty and tits hanging out everywhere, and just loud ass music and big boats. It was like a party cove. And there was literally like 100 people in there just partying, getting down. I just wanted to go join the party, right? But so we're in the boat, and I'm telling Jeremy, I'm like, we're not going to catch nothing. Look at all that noise. And literally 20 feet away from us, there's guys doing circles and jet skis. Wow, wow. But they're in like an open area, right? And the open cove is right here. And to the side, there's all these big trees that are underwater. And we're sitting amongst the trees using drop shots and Cincos and stuff. And I don't think we're going to catch nothing. I'm like, why don't we go back to where we were killing it? Sure enough, right there next to all this noise and jet skiers, we were pulling out 4-pounders and 3-pounders, and we started culling, and that's how we went from maybe 16 pounds to 18 pounds. And it blew my mind to see how many fish were stacked up right next to people just going nutso. And the bass didn't give two shits about those people. Like, it was so awesome. So when you hear people like, shh, you're gonna scare the bass, like, probably not, unless maybe it's winter or something. I don't know. But Des Bass did not give two squats about that noise. It was so awesome. So anyways, those are one of my favorite memories fishing in the rubber raft. And so I'm excited to bring, I wish I would have been recording that. Imagine seeing that kind of stuff in a rubber raft. You guys would have lost your mind. I know I did. And just thinking about it, I get this big ass grin. Thinking that 12 plaques, all those plaques, man, they all came out of a rubber raft. So, so that being said, that's why I'm looking forward